It would certainly be noticed if I rifled through his luggage. I better not.
But taking the letter won't be noticed. That's just like completely ridiculous. Like, oh, no one will notice if I just take things. Ah, no, this was Blaw's. What's in the book then?
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Okay. Dr. Armstrong, Emily Brent, Vera Claythorne, Philip Lombard, General Mckenzie, CMG, DSO, Anthony Marston, Justice Wargrave, manservant and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, Dr. Edward Armstrong. Flourishing practice in Harley Street. Rumour of some misstep early in his career, but now highly regarded by colleagues and patients. Very well to do, unlikely jewel thief. Emily Brent, spinster with enough private means to keep her comfortable, makes frequent pilgrimages to various watering holes, stays in moderate accommodations, some scandal attached to one of her former serving girls, but the old lady is clean, long shot to be a jewel thief. Very Claythorne, former governess until the charge died in her care, unsuccessful trying to find teaching position, hired as Mrs. Owen's secretary, hard up enough she might have sticky fingers around her employer's possessions. Bears watching. Philip Lombard, checkered army career, something of a mercenary, enjoys living higher than he can afford, probably wouldn't hesitate at a bit of larceny if the opportunity presented itself. General John Mckenzie, long retired, distinguished army record, but some rumours concerning his wife and a young officer who later died in action in the Great War, wife also deceased. Not my first choice for a thief, though you never can tell when the old one's minds start to go. Anthony Marston, rich brat, old family, youngest son, though, so no title or estates in his future. Playboy, right-wing politics. Never see him in the trenches if it comes to war with Germany again. Might steal on a bet, I suppose. Justice Lawrence Wargrave, distinguished jurist, ruled his court like a private fiefdom, respected but not liked by colleagues, sent more than a few villains to the gallows, not a man to get on the wrong side of. If he's a jewel thief, I'll eat my hat. The Rogers. Former employer died, inquest was a bit rough on them, but their inheritance wasn't much, so no charges brought. Most likely suspects if jewels go missing, new servants, big temptation, particularly if their expectations were higher before this other employer died. August the 8th, 4 p.m. I come down here to a bit of work, and who do I find running the boat? Fred Narracott. I don't think he recognised me. We only saw each other a couple of times when he was on the force, when we were on the force together before his little trouble. Still with a warrant for his arrest and that tidy reward too. I have to trap him here on the island where I can keep an eye on him. He may even be an accomplice in the planned theft. They won't be getting away with any jewels while I'm on the job. First thing first, I need to put that boat out of commission before he finishes bringing up the bags. Okay, well...
A radiator. You can't have enough of them, really.
It's a bit bothersome, but... we're putting these bits of information together. We've already been in this one. And this one was locked.
No need to call unnecessary attention to my snooping. I can't take that apart. Et voila.
Whose room are we in? Is the judge? Might be.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
So the judge was in that bathroom. Wargrave. Dearest Lawrence, it's been such years since I heard anything of you. I'm back in England and have just purchased a marvellously odd, thoroughly modern house on Shipwreck Island off South Devon. You must come for the weekend. It's an enchanting place and we have so much to catch up on. The old days, communing with nature, though of course that's always been more in my line. Get out of that stuffy flat and come back in the sunshine with me and a few other amusing guests the weekend of August the 8th. You take the 12:40 from Paddington, change at Plymouth for Oakbridge. A car will meet you there. I won't take no for an answer. Yours ever, Constance Culmington. So, is that the only one that's not un-Owen? Or UN-Owen? UN-Owen. That's the only one, I think. Let's back to the serving area. Oh, I've been in everywhere now, haven't I? I've been in everywhere. I mean, I might not have been...
These are very expensive linens. I bet they're very strong.
Okay. Now I don't know what they're actually going to be. Ooh. What was that?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Ah, okay. So... some package of sewing needles. Right. Rogers, Mrs. Owen and I will be detained in London this evening. Please do the best you can in our absence. My good lady tells me she wanted the roast for dinner with potatoes and vegetables and the treacle tart for dessert. Ooh, very good choice. Well, it depends what the roast is, but you'll find everything you need in the pantry, then serve drinks afterwards in the front parlour. You already have the gramophone record. Please play the side labelled Hello once everyone is comfortably settled in the parlour. We'll be along as soon as possible. Ulrich Norman Owen. And this piece of paper?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
So their letter of introduction. Rogers, Mrs. Owen and I will be giving a little house party this weekend. Only 8 guests. I'm sure you'll manage. The larder is well stocked and this crowd shouldn't give too much trouble. We'll arrive early Friday so that Mrs. Owen can draw up a suitable menu. Hang on to the accompanying package for me. It's a gramophone record. I'll want to play it for my guests. Ulrich Norman Owen. So he sent it to them. So I think we've been into all the rooms now. I think.
No need to call unnecessary attention to my snooping.
Someone's not paying attention. Let's have a listen to this then.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Wine, Doctor?
No, thank you, Rogers. I never touch alcohol. Except for sterilizing wounds or instruments, of course.
I tried to collect some apples from an orchard on the island, but a bee stung me. I'm afraid I dropped the basket and ran. No need to apologize. I myself am dreadfully allergic to bees, wasps, hornets. I'm sorry to hear there are bees here. Oh, you must take care. There's all sorts of those bee house things. What do you call it?
An apiary.
Oh, I thought that was for monkeys.
Ethel!
Miss Claythorne, we've never met, but I do seem to recall your name.
Oh?
Yes, from when I stayed at that stuffy old hotel near St. Trednick. Do you know it?
No. No, I don't think so.
Really? How extraordinary. I was so shocked.
Narracott says he's not Fred Fane, but his brother. It may well be, but he bears watching.
Seems like such a nice man.
They said the same thing about Stevenson, the child murderer. I confess I've never met our host, Mr. Owen. What kind of a man is he? Rogers?
We haven't seen the Owens either, sir. We were only engaged a week ago by letter, and asked to make the house ready.
So no one has actually met the Owens.
How extraordinary.
I, for one, will have some sharp questions for the Owens when they do arrive.
Okay. Let's just keep going, because I think we've explored everywhere we can. Something more going to happen.
With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Did anyone else see the poem over the fireplace?
10 Little Sailor Boys. Yes, I saw it.
And here before us as the centerpiece of our table are the 10 little sailor boys themselves, all looking correct and polished.
I like a neat and tidy house, Your Honor.
Robson, the man who built this house, was a sailor. Perhaps Mr. Owen inherited them from him.
Another question for Mr. Owen.
As I remember, the rhyme was about soldier boys. Highly inappropriate, as I recall.
There are many variations.
You seem to know quite a bit about it, Miss Claythorne.
I was a governess before seeking secretarial work. Governesses spend a lot of time with nursery rhymes.
All gratuitously gruesome, if you ask me. So much violence in the world today.
Sometimes violence is necessary, Miss Brent.
There speaks a soldier for you.
A realist, Miss Brent, not a dreamer. If action needs to be taken, I, for one, am fully prepared to take it.
How does the famous rhyme go, Miss Clayton?
Must we harp on this topic at dinner?
Miss Brent may be right, Mr. Marston. The rhyme is a bit gruesome. It's there over the fireplace in the parlor if you care to have a look later.
If you think so.
Excellent meal, Rogers. My compliments to both you and your good woman. You've done your employers proud.
Thank you, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Most gratifying, I'm sure. After dinner drinks will be served in the front parlor.
Oh, I was going to try and rush there and listen to read the
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. This is your host, UN Owen. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925 cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. Emily Caroline Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931 you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Blore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor on October 10th, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935 you killed Cyril Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February 1932 you were guilty of the death of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mckenzie, that on the 4th of January 1917 you deliberately sent your wife's lover Arthur Richmond to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November last you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May 1929 you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that upon the 10th day of June 1934 you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
Doctor! I only fainted, Rogers. I'm sure she'll be fine. Narracott, you get my bag from my room?
Yes, of course.
Stout fellow. Marston, in a moment I'll want help to get her to her room.
Of course.
Behind the kitchen, is it, Rogers?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can use that door.
Right, so I need to remember what room's his what his room is. And then get his bag. That's the judge's. Is it this one? Nope. I'm just like shoes. Oh, I get it from my room. As if I know exactly what the rooms are. No, this is the general's room, so it's not this one. No, that's Emily Brent's. That's Emily Brent's. Oh. And then bathroom between the two ladies, and that's Claythorne. Is it this one? Nope. It's not this one either. Eventually I'll get it right. No, that was Blore. This one? Oh yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Oh, I was worried for a moment that it was stuck. There we go. So I have to go to their room then. No, not yet. Okay. So we're just going to push through and... There you go. Give him the bag. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. I am in your debt. Perhaps we can talk later. For now, I must see to my patient.
Let's go see, head to the parlour then, see if we can get the, see if we can read the poem, maybe. Yeah.
Now, Rogers, tell us about that extraordinary voice.
It was Mr. Owen, sir. In his letter, he wrote to me to put it on the gramophone once you were all settled in here after dinner.
That was Mr. Owen's voice?
You doubt that it was?
No. I thought I recognized it. I'm sure I'm mistaken.
A disgraceful practical joke.
You think it was a joke?
What else could it be?
I will need to hear more evidence before offering an opinion.
Mr. Marston and I carried Mrs. Rogers to her room. I gave her a mild sedative. She's resting comfortably.
Whoever it was on that recording, that person knows or has taken the trouble to find out a good deal about us all. He was correct about Seton. I presided at the trial, but all I did was execute a guilty man.
I remember the case. As I recall, there was some talk.
Happily, guilt and innocence are decided by those of us qualified to make a judgment, not by gossip.
Actually,
Of
by
course, there
jurors.
is one omission in that recording. Mr. Narracott, of course. Although to hear Mr. Blore tell it, he might have earned a place on that list had Mr. Owen been so inclined.
Oh, okay. Any truth to the accusation?
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's a matter of interpretation, you understand. But I'd have to say, yes.
Will you tell me how it
Will you
happened?
tell me how it happened?
Elderly woman. Poor devil. I'd been up all night with an emergency case. My nerves were shot, hands shaking. But I had to operate. I had to try and save her. I had a pick-me-up or two to steady myself, but I bungled it. It wasn't the drink, I swear. It was an accident. Could have happened to anyone in my profession.
Good evening, Doctor.
So that's some more of these questions. I want to see, this is the parlour, isn't it? "10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little sailor boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little sailor boys travelling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little sailor boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6. 6 little sailor boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little sailor boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little sailor boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little sailor boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little sailor boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there were 1. 1 little sailor boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none." Well, maybe we'll find out more about that next time. We're going to have a chat with some of these people, try and get some information, which might be useful. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing at the moment. There hasn't been anything to really investigate other than the fact that the boat was wrecked, and we know that was this bloke, Blore. But obviously this is based on a murder mystery. So something is going to happen. Probably a murder. We're going to have to solve who done it. So we'll possibly start having some murders next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.